Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So what are your impressions of Valhalla, just for folks that have not seen it on TV or didn't watch the Ryder Cups or past majors?
You know, they see a PGA maybe at a Southern Hills or a Bet Page or, whatever it may be. And they're like, Valhalla and Louisville, Kentucky. But like, look at the tournaments produced and it's insane. Yeah. It really has. And obviously, of course, I'm a bias toward it.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access. Only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast in the biggest way possible. Hanging out. The bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. Hanging out in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people dressed in plastic bags to ready traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up, shadoobie, along with the one and only Carver High, the stuff of legend. It's run by Mafia and Luke, I am your father. This is Coast to Coast on a pain-free Friday. Today, Gabe Morency, David Aragona from the Daily Racing Form as we get ready for the Oaks later this afternoon at Churchill Downs, and tomorrow's Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses, the first Saturday in May. Plus, Coach Young on the Lion's Share, Davis Maddock from Fantasy Sports Today, and Elvis, look at him, will be here to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs from the fourth period in NHL radio on Sirius XM. It's great to have our radio partners with us, as always. Sirius, Channel 159, Sports Byline, all of their affiliates, Mightier 1090 in San Diego, ESPN Radio, from Mexico to the Canadian Rockies. Good to see you guys. We got day ball, a little action. Carver High not that excited. Milwaukee and the Cubs, end of 3 at Wrigley, scoreless. Everything else at night. Carver High, what is going on at the Byron Nelson down in McKinney, Texas?
Well, happy Friday to you as well, Scotty, as we get going here. And it's actually going very well at the Byron Nelson down at TPC Craig Ranch. You want to know why? Because we have Jake Afternoon Nap is in first place. We, of course, gave him out here on Golf Wednesdays at an 80-1 ticket on Wednesday. So now, look, we got a couple days to go, but we got ourselves a nice little sweat for the weekend, Scotty. We got Jake Afternoon Nap in first place with an 80-1. So we will gladly take that. We have a few other guys in the mix as well. I see Aaron Rye moving, Nikki Dunlap in seventh, Ben Hahn is there, Seawolf Kim. We've got Jaeger Bombs is in eighth. Our boy Skins, David Skins, Minwoo Lee. Lots of guys involved here.
Skinflex, also on the leaderboard.
David Skins. We have a big top 20 on him at 8-1. So we'll see if we can push a few of these guys across. But Jake Afternoon Nap is the name that we will be watching throughout the weekend here. We should probably start today with that Knicks Sixer game from last night, right? I mean, you must have lost a lot of weight with that one. I mean, once it was, you know what? It was like the rest of the series, right, Scotty? The ups and the downs. You had one team blast out in the first quarter, other team huge comeback in the second quarter, nip and tuck second half, back and forth, great fourth quarter, high drama. How about a tie game under a minute to go? And the Knicks got the rock, Scotty, and you know where I'm going with this one. Brunson, of course, had a big night, but so did doing all the things he normally does, Josh Hart, and he would hit the series-winning bucket for the Knicks on TNT.
Oubre forces him to give it up. Hart hands it to him. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Brunson, drive, swing, Hart. He connects! Huge three!
I mean, this guy is just a nasty dog. He has nailed so many shots. I have never seen a guy 6'4", he claims 6'5", get that many rebounds in NBA games. I mean, really, you know, if you're 6'4", I'm 6'4", Mavi is 6'5", Coach is 6'5". These are big people. And then in the NBA, they look small compared to guys that are 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot, 7'2", blah, blah, blah. But this guy, for his size, rebounds like Dennis Rodman. I mean, this guy is just an absolute savage on the boards. And then he hits the big three. They didn't guard him. They don't feel that he can hit those shots. Obviously, Philly, their intentions were not on him. They were worried about Brunson, and that's all they were worried about. And I think the Knicks were worried about Embiid and Maxey. But Hart nailed the shot, but he had a big game, 16, 14, and 7. Just the stress of it all. I honestly, I can't take it. I can't take the stress of it. Like I'm literally sick over it. I don't feel good. I have body pain in places I've never even known I could have pain. And I think it's from watching the Knicks and Sixers. I am so grateful that they got rid of that team. They drive me nuts. Again, they haven't done anything since '83 except talk about how wonderful they are and how great they are. And then when he came back from his knee, they said he was going to go to the NBA Finals, if you remember. I mean, it went right on TV immediately that they were going on a run to the finals, that they had Embiid back. Remember, that's all we heard on ESPN. Oh, look at the Sixers. Here they go with Embiid and Maxey. No one can stop them. And sure enough, again, gone fishing, Cancun, see you later. They're out as usual, like they always are. Clippers, they'll be next tonight.
Clippers will be next tonight. We will get to that soon. Hart had 14 boards, as you mentioned. He played 46 minutes. I snuck in a small ticket on him, Sky, to get a triple-double. I wish he could have got me those other three dimes and cashed that 22-1 spot for me. But, hey, maybe he'll get it for me next time. Let's hear from Tom Thibodeau. Of course, DiVincenzo played 48 minutes. Hart played 46 minutes in this game. The Knicks basically played like six guys, Scotty. Brunson played 44, and Anunoby played 45. Did Tibbs ever consider taking Josh Hart out of the game for maybe a little bit longer, giving him a rest? Are you kidding me?
Josh always seems to be playing in pain, dealing with one thing or another. Was he close to having to come out? Because he looked like he was scuffling there.
Josh is never close to coming out, okay? So it was a passing thought. I let it pass.
Tibbs. Look, that made my day right there that he's happy for once in his life. I think Josh is a great player. DiVincenzo hit some mammoth threes. He had 5 of them. Brunson is just a freak. He is everything to this team. Like, he's so good, you don't even remember Randall was on the team. Honestly, that's how good Brunson is.
He is. Speaking of those three amigos from Villanova, getting it done back where they used to play college ball, Scotty. Look at these three guys, DiVincenzo, Hart, and Brunson, all doing the post game together. They're having a great time talking about the great chemistry that they have.
The path you guys shared, playing at Villanova. What does it mean to go through this with each other?
Can't stand these dudes. Yeah. I'm being honest.
Oh, I was about to answer. Oh no, I mean it's amazing because we have great friendship. You know, we love each other. We're like brothers.
100%. I just think that I don't think that at all. I think from the outside, people think that we just like hang out with just each other, no one else. But I think we really enjoy involving everyone on this team. And so the chemistry and the communication we have in that locker room on and off the court, it's special.
Yeah, I thought so. I guess DiVincenzo had the line, "I hate these dudes. I don't like any of them."
DiVincenzo said that. Yeah,
that's great. Like, I think it's great they went back to Philadelphia and stuck a knife in their chest and said, "Remember me." I don't think any of them have played in Philly since their college days in terms of being on the Sixers, unless I'm mistaken. But I just think it really is a great team that the Knicks have. I can't wait to see if they can keep going and beat the Pacers and go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that I've always said they would. I think that they're the best team that can give the Celtics a test. I think the Celtics are better than the Knicks. I think the Knicks will have problems with the Celtics. But if they play like they do now, then, if then is applicable, I think that they will give the Celtics all they can handle. I mean, that was a war with Philadelphia every single night, and they won the war.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cash the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I think they're looking for a space where they can be comfortable, perhaps make some NIL money in the process, but be better set up long-term as opposed to it being 1 year jumping around.
You want to kind of get your core players that have been here a couple of years and then go get the high-profile recruit and then supplement at the transfer portal.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dude, did you know BetMGM has responsible gambling tools so you don't get carried away?
I never get carried away. Well, there were the bobbleheads. And the playoff beer.
Chili's ready!
Well, those tools could really help.
Don't forget about the backyard rink.
Yeah, these tools are pretty great.
BetMGM is committed to making gambling safe and fun with responsible gambling tools so you don't get carried away.
catch my man Morency every night at 10 East till 1 in the morning, dominating TV and radio everywhere. You can catch it on SportsGrid, SportsGrid TV, SportsGrid app, sportsgrid.com/watch on all of our TV platforms. Of course, radio on Sirius Channel 159, on Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio in San Diego, from the Mexico to the Canadian Rockies, all over the West Coast at night, just owning the West Side. And, of course, Sports Byline USA, 10 o'clock tonight with Morency. But we refuse to wait until 10 o'clock on Coast to Coast for our dose of young Gabriel. He's on every day with us on C2C. Can we start by talking about that family for a second? That was a good line you just said. You're like, they were talking about prop bets, and then Morency goes, yeah, Porter, they never really had prop bets up for him. He didn't matter. I'm like, his other brother's even better, getting Deweys. And then Morency goes, the other brother is going in for, like, robbing banks. I'm like, and he goes, what a family.
I think the other brother, yeah, it's hard to keep up, actually. You know, like I said, the same week that Jonte Porter, the Raptor deal happened, a couple of days later, another one of the brothers got popped for drunk driving. Right. But just a couple of days ago, another one actually got sentenced to like 6 to 8 years for something. They're giving the Mahomes family a run for their money. Right? There's always like one sort of, you got, like, if you think about it, Mahomes' father's a menace to society, right? The guy like constantly gets arrested for drunk driving. He's going to jail, right? I mean, I don't know. Mahomes has a lot of money, so we'll see what they can do. Imagine this, Scott. We didn't really realize this. Patrick Mahomes' father was already doing weekends in jail for the last couple of years. So imagine, you're already doing weekends in the county jail, and then you get popped again Super Bowl weekend. Remember that picture? He was, like, lit, bro. Like, he was, like, so, like, basically, they're like, we don't have, you know, by law, you must go to jail now. Like, so no one really talks about that because it's Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, because, it's Patrick Mahomes, right? And his brother's just a big punk, right? His brother's groping people, harassing people, this and that. And same thing, the Mahomes. Listen, it's Kansas City. Andy Reid's son nearly killed 4 people and paralyzed a kid. Right. It's what they do. Rashee Rice. You know what I mean?
But Reid's kid, they gave him he got like a break. Like, I think they've already given him like a break on his sentence. He's like out. I think he's already out.
I don't even think I think he might have been under, like, you know, suspended house arrest or whatever. I don't think.
Yeah,
you know,
he got
like I
off.
said, it's the Chiefs, bro. You know what I mean? Like, if people don't actually talk about, like, just if you actually want to analyze, not to mention Tyreek Hill was there forever. The moral of the story is you don't win Super Bowls unless you have dudes that do bad things off the field. I hate to say it, but that seems to be the gist of it.
So what's your thoughts on Ham getting fired today?
Well, listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that Darvin Ham is Chuck Daly or Phil Jackson or one of the greatest coaches ever to coach in the NBA. But, like, really, Scott, like, the NBA is the most players-driven league to begin with. LeBron runs that team. I mean, and was it Frank Vogel's fault? So now it's Darvin Ham's fault? You know, I would say who's going to want that job, but it's L.A. and whatever. Coaches know you're hired to be fired, and, you know, you have a nice little run. You know you're not going to be there long. But as far as credible coaches are concerned, I don't think people want to deal with it, right? You got to deal with Rich Paul and Maverick Carter and LeBron and blah, 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 and Jeannie Buss. And, like what are they doing there? And I think we all know what's going to happen now, right? It's going to, I think, J.J. Redick. Listen, man, J.J. Redick interviewed with the Toronto Raptors, remember? And people kind of rolled their eyes at it a bit. The Raptors were ahead of the curve with that, right? They were like, you know what? He's going to be a coach, so why not let's see what he has to say. The Charlotte Hornets want him to be the coach, and I don't think he wants the job. And you got to look at it two ways, Scott. You could say, well, you know, if you're J.J. Redick, you never coached before, you're coming in, it's the Lakers, there's a ton of pressure and all that, and if you fail, it's a massive fail. But either way, you're under pressure. You've never coached before, right? I mean, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, my God, right? J.J. Redick is a head coach in the NBA suddenly. So either way, he's under pressure here, Scott. I probably think it happens, to be honest. I don't think it's a coincidence that he started doing a podcast with LeBron, their buddies.
Right.
It's a modern type of move, So I think as a betting man, I think that J.J. Redick is probably really the front runner for this job right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's any revelation. I just think that he is, a guy that knows everything, has seen everything, and has been coached by everyone and has tasted every facet of the league. And I think he's a shoo-in to coach.
But let me ask you something, Scott.
Be good at it. Like, I don't see how he really could fail.
I think he will be very good at it. He can relate to players. Right? If anyone watches him, he's got a super high basketball
Very
IQ,
smart.
obviously. Right? Like, yeah, he's a smart. He seems like he's got the combo, Scott, of street smarts and book smarts, which not a lot of people have. You know what I mean? It's like he understands the culture of the league, yet he's also a basketball purist and thinker. And so is LeBron. But let me ask you something. If J.J. Redick wants to run a basketball team, he's going to want guys that can pop threes. He's going to want to play a quick tempo. So it doesn't matter. Like, you can be you or I can be the coach. That's not who they are. It's not what they have, right? It's the damn roster. Pelinka is along for the free ride. Let's just be real, bro. LeBron and LeBron's goons and his guys, his henchmen, and that crew I talked about, they run that team, Scott. Just point blank. So they can throw anyone they want under the bus every 2 years. It's on you, bro. You're the coach, LeBron. You're the GM. You run this thing.
Yeah. If that fails, I think Jeannie should just give the job to Jay Moore, her husband. Maybe he'll coach the Lakers. When we come back, 4 Game 6s tonight, we'll break it down with Morency.
Torrey Taylor, who they actually needed some help in terms of their punting unit. He is going to be great.
But I do firmly believe if Odunze is not on the board, that they probably trade back and gain assets and look to fortify their team across the board. But the fact that we got a bozo pick in number 8 here from the Atlanta Falcons, that's the reason why I believe also it's a great pick to have the Bears as the winner.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Giannis not available. So, what is that, a 6-year window? He's been injured in, he's been injured in 4 of the last 5 playoffs, Coach?
And he can't close games because he can't shoot. And he's not healthy. At some point, people need to look at Giannis and say, great player? Don't tell me all the time great.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad, bad, bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Hooking up with Morency, and first things first, I think it's important.
People should hear you and my ideas during our breaks, though. Me and Scott's like Scott brainstorming. We're like, Scott's like, that's a good idea, but I'm like, it is, but maybe not.
That's gonna get us fired, but it's a great idea. First of all, how are the and we don't want to get too deep into this, but it is crucial, I think, for the fans, an update on your floors.
Oh, you know what? The floors are nearly being done, but it's been quite an adventure, bro. It's been like 2 weeks of people here. Yesterday, the dude, he goes, can I use the bathroom? What are you got a bunch of workers here and stuff, right? It's like, yeah, okay. Dude, I didn't think the guy was going to sit down and read like a book and stuff. Like, it was like 40 minutes, drop like a nuclear bomb in there after. Right? And it was like, we're getting to the end here.
Inappropriate.
And as you see, yeah, it's been like 2 weeks of stuff. And as you see, like over the last 2 weeks, we've been all over the place. We're in this studio, we're there, we're in this room, we're moving things around, which I can deal with. But you know what? I'm glad it's coming to an end here soon. I'll tell you that.
So I got to this nice 5-star hotel, right, I'm at, and I'm with my son, and he walk in the room, and he goes, oh, man, because he had flown from San Diego, I had flown from New York, and we met, and he goes, man, I got a yam. I go, listen, go to the lobby. It's a 5-star hotel. Just go in the lobby and do it. We just got here. Leave my room alone. Don't go in the bathroom. Go back to
you
the
have
lobby.
a nice, fresh hotel room. Yeah.
Right, do the first one in the lobby one. That one's always clean, too. You can in a 5-star hotel, the lobby men's header's pretty clean. Go down there and ruin someone's day. Not ruining my day. Get out. I threw him out of the room. We were there 5 minutes.
Smart move.
Right?
That's a vet move.
I always do it, too. Like, first one, you know how you get off a plane, you get depressurized. You're like, man, I got to really double up here. And then I always hit never at the airport. Bad scene. Always try to do it at the 5-star hotel. All right, moving on. The red phone just lit up.
I left my cell phone in a stall.
No, the red phone just lit up. I'm in trouble talking about stuff that doesn't matter again here at the network. Just always getting in trouble. All right, so 4 game 6s tonight. I want to start with hockey because last night the Leafs did it again. How about Nylander with that winner and both goals? I cannot believe the Leafs won. You were right. And then here we go for a game 7 in Boston, Saturday night primetime on ABC. That'll be the only game 7 offering on Saturday night.
First things first, as far as the broadcast is concerned, this is big time stuff, Scott. ABC, Saturday night. You're not going head to head with the NBA. The floor is yours. This is actually a big, let's see what they can do with this. Right, the NHL is getting great publicity leading into this and promotion by the ESPN families, and it's on ABC, not just ESPN, but ABC. As far as the Leafs are concerned, we discussed it, Scott. The Leafs' inability to play playoff-style hockey. It's not what they do. The last couple of games, they've been doing it. Like, it's like they finally figured it out, without Austin Matthews, ironically enough, but I don't want to throw Austin Matthews out of the bus. But they're playing a completely different, defensive-minded, smart, don't take chances, dump the puck, block shots. The effort is there. Like I said, and there's got to be something to be said about Matthews not playing and something just clicking with these guys right now. The goaltending has been great. Not to mention, Scott, Boston, you can just see it in their faces, right? You can just sort of see they're surprised that Toronto was punched back. Right, they're like a bully that's surprised that the nerd just hit him over the head with a baseball bat, and now the nerd's like, all right, let's go, and then hit him again. All right, let's do this. Boom, boom. I think the Leafs are a pretty confident club. We talked about them being a very good road team, and don't forget Boston blew a 3-1 series lead last year. I think it's starting to catch up to them a little bit. Their coach Montgomery threw Pasternak under the bus, so he needs to be better. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the way to go at this point in time going into a game 7. Listen, it's a toss-up, but let's give credit to the Leafs for actually extending this to 7. We're fired up for the Canuck game that's coming up in a couple hours here. And
right. Who do you like?
I think Vancouver are going to get it done. They won the first 2 games on the road. I think it's going to be one of these weird series where they can win again on the road. I think they're pretty loose. They're not nervous they're not like, oh my God, we're blowing the lead. What's going to happen if we lose? We're going to go to 7. Right. Rick Tocchet says no. They're mad.
And what about Dallas and Vegas?
Dallas beat them tonight. I say, give me the Dallas Stars.
Finishes them. And real quick, who do you like? Orlando at home tonight. There you go. And who do you like? Dallas against the Clips.
I've been wrong every game in that series.
Tory Taylor, who they actually needed some help in terms of their punting unit. He is going to be great.
But I do firmly believe if Odunze is not on the board, that they probably trade back and gain assets and look to fortify their team across the board. But the fact that we got a bozo pick in number 8 here from the Atlanta Falcons, that's the reason why I believe also they picked to have the Bears as the winner.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Giannis not available. So, what is that, a 6-year window? He's been injured in, he's been injured in 4 of the last 5 playoffs, Coach?
And he can't close games because he can't shoot. And he's not healthy. At some point, people need to look at Giannis and say, great player? Don't tell me all the time great.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Carver did tell me earlier that he does not like Philadelphia any more than I do, and he doesn't like Nick Nurse. On top of that, that's like, whipped cream on top of the pound cake.
Yeah, I actually don't really like Nick Nurse, guy. To be quite honest with you, I feel like he's a bit of a D. To be honest, like here he is after the game last night. Precisely, I think that's his biggest problem. And here he is after the game last night. Tip the hat to the other team, say nice job. He just seems so smug about the entire thing. Here's Nick Nurse.
Yeah, I mean, I think listen, give both teams a lot of credit for the way they fought and played. I give them some credit for hitting a huge 3 in 3 of the wins. Right.
Wow.
That's basketball there, Coach.
At the end.
Guys hit shots.
The series probably could have went the exact opposite the way it did, but it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
So congratulate them for
okay.
Ending up on the positive side of it.
Okay, so
whatever.
Let's be clear again. I'm going to say this for the 5 millionth time. That guy, he reminds me of Doc Rivers in that he gets all this juice off of winning that title in Toronto, and he had nothing to do with it. It was Kawhi Leonard won that championship by himself in Toronto. He carried that team, and I'll give Siakam some love too, right? But that's why they won. Don't tell me they won because of Nick Nurse. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to it. These coaches that get credit. Doc Rivers coaches 3 Hall of Famers on the Celtics. Of course they won. I told you a gerbil could have coached that team. And I'll tell you another thing. I believe 100% unequivocally that Carver High's daughter, Ray Lewis, could coach the Lakers and do better than Darvin Ham. I've already said those things. This guy's overrated. I think Doc Rivers is the most overpaid, overrated coach in all of sports. There is no sport on earth that you can name where there's a guy that makes more money than him that has 0 success. 0. He is bad luck personified. Don't sell me that title in Boston. He had nothing to do with it. Nothing. He has shown his true colors ever since. Ever since he couldn't win if the other team didn't show up for the game. He never wins anything. He is the most overrated, hack-ass coach I have ever seen in my life. Where do I get a job? Where do I sign up for a job that pays me $40 million for 2 years and you never win? I mean, went 19-22. The guy they fired was better.
Amazing. And they go home, of course, 120-98. Pacers win Game 6 last night. The Pacers, Scotty, they didn't get the big contributions from their normal guys. It was the bench. Obi Toppin, that should be fun with Obi Toppin playing the Knicks in the second round. He had 21 points, and TJ McConnell had 20 points for the Pacers off the bench, including this 3 to end the third quarter on TNT.
About a 5-second difference, shot to game clock. McConnell's going to fire, and he sticks it.
I think the Knicks have to worry about Siakam, Turner, Halliburton, Naismith, and Nebhard primarily. I do not believe for 1 minute that the Knicks will worry about Obi-Wan Kenobi Toppin. I think they'll take his sloppy-ass game right out of this series. He's the guy no one guards and has alley-oop dunks all the time, and people think he's good. The Knicks got rid of him for a reason. Secondly, McConnell.
That won't happen against the Knicks.
Yeah, they're not having it. McConnell will do nothing either against that nasty dog perimeter defense of the Knicks. The Knicks used to be a team that had a problem defending the perimeter, and they let everyone and their brother drive right into the free throw line and elbow and score easy buckets in the NBA. If you stop that, that's the beginning of having a good team. If you concentrate on the perimeter and don't let anyone break the seal, and then if you defend the low block, which they do with white boy Rick Halliburton and your boy Mitchell Robinson, once you have both of those things covered defensively, you're a good team. That's it. You're a good team. They're not going to let those two hacks, that's what they are, they're both hacks. They're not going to do anything against the Knicks. I don't believe for 1 minute that the Obi Toppin's going to come to New York and score 40 points in a game. It's not happening. What do you have, 21 last night? I bet he won't score 21 in one game of the series against the Knicks. They won't let it happen. They're not letting that guy come waltzing into the Garden and show them up. And I guarantee you that'll be a conversation piece at practice. They're going to be like, all right, this dude ain't scoring more than 10 in any game. That's it.
I agree. I don't believe that the Knicks, who, as we saw in the Philly series, they're really 6, maybe 7 deep in terms of the rotation. They've got the perimeter covered. I don't see Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell having some huge games against them. The Pacers are going to need their stars, Scotty,
and
Halliburton, etc., to beat the Knicks. Those are the guys that are going to have to get it done. We'll get to that series in a moment. I want to put the bow on the Bucks here.
Here
you brought up Doc.
Oh, here we go.
So here's Doc. Another lost year for Doc.
Go back to
broadcasting. To his team in the playoffs. Here's Doc for you.
Yeah, listen, injuries are just part of it. I've had personally just a horrendous streak.
You got that
Joel,
right.
all 3 years in Philadelphia, hurt. Last couple of years with the Clippers with Chris Paul and Blake, hurt, right? It takes, and I say this all the time, winning is incredibly hard. It takes 12, 15 players
He knows
turning
nothing about
themselves
winning.
into one and buying in.
He doesn't win.
Your staff being together as one.
Listen to this guy make excuses.
And then you still may not win. It's just hard.
I don't even listen to it. I'm not even listening to this guy. Go back to the broadcast booth. You obviously can't coach. I mean it. I do not believe for 1 minute that guy is a good coach at all. Not even. Whatever he touches in the last 15 years turns to mud. I mean, it's just automatic. It's automatic. When he got this job, I don't know how many times Coach Young and I said on this show and on Betting Above the Rim that failure was right around the corner doing push-ups. He's a bad luck charm. My man's the Black Cloud Diner. He doesn't win. He's jinxed. He even said it right there. He's like, I have had the worst luck and the worst run and the worst stretch. You got that right, bro. Go back to the ABC and ESPN broadcast booth. Take JJ's job. It's real simple. You know the game. You're great at doing it. And you suck as a coach. You're horrible. He's a horrible coach. I'm going to say it right here. He is the most, he's awful. He's so awful. And they pay him more than anyone in the NBA. It is beyond comprehension to me. What? Where do I get the key to the Brinks truck? Where do I have a guy on the inside that'll just hand me the bags of money? This guy gets bags of money to do nothing. He is the richest guy on earth. You know why? Because he's never worked for a penny of it. He does nothing. What does he do to deserve all this money? All he does is lose. Don't even tell me I'm wrong. I'm sick of talking about him. He can go to hell for all I care. Sick and tired of his ass. I love betting against him too. It's easy money. What'd I do last night? Lay the 5.5. It's Doc Rivers. Lay it.
He says he loves being in Milwaukee now and can't wait for a full off season and getting all the guys healthy and back for next year. I have one more for this when we come back, and that's this knucklehead Beverly. Not about him throwing the ball. Yeah. I don't know if you saw him acting like a D to the reporters in the locker room afterward.
I didn't.
I have that for you when we come back.
Torrey Taylor, who they actually needed some help in terms of their punting unit. He is going to be great.
But I do firmly believe if Odunze is not on the board, that they probably trade back and gain assets and look to fortify their team across the board. But the fact that we got a bozo pick in number 8 here from the Atlanta Falcons, that's the reason why I believe also it's a great pick to have the Bears as the winner.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Giannis not available. So, what is that, a 6-year window? He's been injured in, he's been injured in 4 of the last 5 playoffs, Coach?
And he can't close games because he can't shoot. And he's not healthy. At some point, people need to look at Giannis and say, great player? Don't tell me all the time great.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad, bad, bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The BetMGM first bet, 1,500 offers. It's really the best thing that's happened since purified water and filtered water. It really is exciting. How do you get it? 4 easy steps. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android or go to BetMGM.com. Sign up, deposit at least $10 into your new BetMGM Sportsbook account. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. If the bet does lose, your money's going to be available once the initial wager is settled. So in other words, if you go in and open your account and then you make a bet for $1,500 on anything, an NBA game, it loses. The minute it loses and is settled that it's lost, they're giving you $1,500 in bonus bets immediately into your account. Boom. Enough said. There's nothing else to add to this conversation. They're giving you money in buckets, these people. There's something wrong with them. They're just giving you lose about $1,500, they give you $1,500. There's something wrong with them. Like, this is your girlfriend's got to be cheating on you. She has to know something about why the BetMGM people are just giving money away like that.
You would like to think so. That's for sure. What another tremendous job by them over at BetMGM. All right. Let me just quickly do this Beverly stuff with you. Now, we saw him throwing the ball with the fan. The NBA is investigating that. Apparently, that's stemmed because the fan was yelling, or some of the fans were yelling, Cancun on 3 when they were breaking the huddle. Like, we're on our way to Cancun. And I guess Beverly took offense to that. I actually thought this was, if not worse than throwing the ball, how he treated some of these reporters in the locker room after the game. Here is Patrick Beverly last night telling a woman if she's not subscribed to his podcast, he's not going to talk to her. Here we go.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Before I finish. You subscribe to my pod?
Do I subscribe to you? I do not.
So you can't interview me then. No disrespect.
Well, Jamal is here.
You subscribe? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Again, there were a couple times within a bucket or two. In previous games, y'all have been able to kind of get over that hump, or maybe. Was it anything they did in particular, or was it just one of those where the bucket didn't go down, there wasn't the stop, they made one? What kind of prevented that you all from being able to get over? Kind of like you haven't.
What a tool
please,
this
or
guy
just
is.
Get out the circle, please, for me, please, ma'am. If you're not subscribed to my pod, I appreciate that. Thank you.
What an absolute asshat this guy is. First, let me be clear, just so we can establish something right here. This guy sucks so bad at playing basketball. If anyone can explain to me how that guy's in the NBA with his hack-ass, broke-ass game, he has no talent at all. Zero. He's not an NBA talent. He's a hack. He's a worthless piece of Shaq player. He has no skill at all. None. Zero. He's a mosquito. That's what he is. He's an agitator. He starts fights. He has no talent. None. Zero. You can quote me on that. And the way he treats people, he's smacking girls in the face with basketballs, throwing balls at fans that pay a lot of money to sit in those seats. They should fine his ass $1 million. See how that tastes. Now, you're going to fine Gobert $100,000 for talking about refs. You should fine him $1 million per head. He smacked 2 girls in the head with basketballs. It should be $2 million. What he did in that locker room, treating that woman like crap, like absolute crap, he should get another $150,000 fine for that. And I don't even know how he's on an NBA team, to be honest with you. I mean, I think he's like literally, I put him on the same page as Michael Porter's brother that just got banned for gambling. I think his brother was one of the worst players ever. Let me say this. The worst players in the NBA are Giannis's brothers and that hack-ass Patrick Beverly. What a worthless piece of Shaq he is. I mean it. Like, quote me on it. Say whatever you want. Say anything. Put anything else you want on there. Salt, Tabasco, some barbecue, steak sauce, whatever you want. I think he's a piece of Shaq. And remember, when I say Shaq, I actually mean a filthy swear word. I can't stand him. He has no game. In fact, I'll swat his ass, his little puny 5-foot ass. Come on and drive in, Pat, with your big game that has nothing to offer. I'll swat it, too, right back in your small face. Stick that mic in my face. How about I stick my fist in your face? How's that taste? He's another one, too. He's another one of these tough guys, little 5-foot guy acting all tough. Let me tell you something, what I do to 5-foot guys that start fights with me. I smash their face in. That's what happens. Think whatever you want. I can't stand him. I'd love to play against him. Oh, I know he's such a great pro. I play with pro players now that are better than him. And if I play with him, I'll break his nose. I'll just do it for fun.
The Knicks and the Pacers will start their second round series on Monday night at the Garden. Here's what we're looking at. Minus 275 for the series for the Knicks. That's a little heavy for me, Scotty. Plus 225 for the Pacers. That, like, minus 275, like, that makes it seem like this is going to be easy for the Knicks. I just don't see that whatsoever.
Well, I think that the Knicks are a lot tougher than the Pacers. I think the Pacers are skilled and talented and can move the ball and score and block shots. I think Turner blocks shots. I think Siakam blocks shots. And I think they're good, right? I think the Knicks are better. And I think they're more physical. I think they're chippier, dirtier, more violent. They're not going to tolerate any of this stuff. Like, Milwaukee played them like pansies because they didn't have their star players in a couple of the games. And it boiled down to there was only one tough guy on the floor for Milwaukee. Let's face facts. Bobby Portis is the only tough player. Lopez is too nice. He's basically Santa Claus. He doesn't go around getting in fights and getting violent with anybody. Portis does. So the Knicks are a lot tougher than this Milwaukee team. The Knicks would have beat them, and they're going to beat the Pacers too. They're going to play the Celtics in the final.
I think they're going to beat him. I just think it'll be tough. Of course, we've had some classic Knick Pacer series in the past. Fun to get those two back together in the playoffs, Scotty. There you go.
Torrey Taylor, who they actually needed some help in terms of their punting unit. He is going to be great.
But I do firmly believe if Odunze is not on the board, that they probably trade back and gain assets and look to fortify their team across the board. But the fact that we got a bozo pick in number 8 here from the Atlanta Falcons, that's the reason why I believe also it's a great pick to have the Bears as the winner.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Giannis not available. So, what is that, a 6-year window? He's been injured in, he's been injured in 4 of the last 5 playoffs, Coach?
And he can't close games because he can't shoot. And he's not healthy. At some point, people need to look at Giannis and say, great player? Don't tell me all the time great.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back on C2C on a Pain-Free Friday. Good to have you with us. David Aragona from the Daily Racing Forum is with us. They've done a great job all week with us on SportsGrid at Daily Racing Forum. We appreciate all that they've contributed for the Run for the Roses on Saturday. David, it's a pleasure to have you on C2C. I have to say, I told you that I've been to this thing at least 10 times, to the Kentucky Derby. I always it was a bucket list kind of thing for me. I wanted in, my career to do certain things. I've been to the Indianapolis 500 a bunch of times. Not a lot of people want to do that or say they've done that. I think that's cool. I've done all the, races, NASCAR races, you name it. I've done everything. I think the Kentucky Derby is one of the coolest things I've ever been to. I always found it unique in Louisville how around that track the people park their cars in people's yards and they make all kinds of money parking the cars, and it's in the middle of this like neighborhood. It's a very unique place. Going there, it's just an absolute bash. Everybody dresses to the nines, and everybody's just getting hammered on bourbon. It's one of the biggest parties I've ever been to in my life. What is your reaction to it? The race is almost secondary to just being at Churchill Downs. It's almost like there's ghosts in the air, and you're in a place that not a lot of people have been to that can say, I went to Churchill Downs to see a Derby.
Yeah, it's a really fun event. It's a wild event. It's the kind of place where, unless you're looking at the racetrack, you might not even know you're in a horse race. There are so many things going on. They made a lot of improvements to the facility this year. They built an entire new paddock that gives the public attending great sight lines of the horses in the back of the track. So it's going to be a great event this year, and the Derby is always a really fun time.
Yeah, I have gone there and been around so many unique people. I sat one year in a suite with Paul Hornung, the legendary quarterback, and I just the memories that I have from the track are just phenomenal. And it really is a beautiful place, and it's cool seeing the horses and the jockeys and everything about it. I've been to all of them, the Preakness. I've been to the Belmont Stakes a bunch of times. I live in New York City. So I think Kentucky and going to Louisville, going to Churchill Downs is by far the coolest. I've been to Santa Anita. I've been to Del Mar. I've been to every track in the country, Gulfstream. I've been around the ponies. There's nothing like Churchill Downs. What do you like today for the Oaks on a wet track in Louisville?
Yeah, so we got the Kentucky Oaks for the fillies, the female race horses, coming up later today, run about 10 minutes before 6 p.m. on the East Coast. And I'm interested in a bit of a price in this race, the number 3 horse, Where's My Ring? One of several who doesn't really have that experience over a wet track before, so that's going to be a new thing for a lot of these fillies competing. But Where's My Ring? She won the prep race in New York, did it very impressively, and she's kind of flying under the radar heading into this Kentucky Oaks. I think she's currently 9-1 in the wagering, so she's the right kind of price.
I love your pick for Saturday's Run for the Roses. I have this feeling like you're right. Like this Japanese horse has never lost a race. Is that about right? This Forever Young has never lost a race. Is that accurate?
Yes, he is undefeated in 5 starts. He's never raced in the United States. He ran 3 times in Japan, once in Saudi Arabia, once in Dubai. That's the unusual path he's taken to get here. But he seems like a horse that has a lot of ability. Hasn't competed against the best American horses just yet, but he's won impressively. And he's coming in here looking like he's got the right set of attributes to finally win the Kentucky Derby for Japan. Japan is a country that produces some really nice racehorses. They've been trying to win the Derby for the past decade or so, and Forever Young feels like the best horse that they've sent to try to win this race so far. So I'm affording him a lot of respect. He was 10-1 on the early line. I think in the current wagering, he's 7-1. I still think that's a pretty fair price on him.
I like your other plays as well, because I got to be honest, they're unique and different than everyone else's. I see a lot of this, fierceness and Sierra Leone on everyone's tickets. Let's look at David Aragona's Derby selections. I think they're certainly different than anything we've seen so far, which it catches my eye, particularly Forever Young. But why the 7, 4, and 2? Obviously, a lot of people like Sierra Leone. I got 30 seconds, respectfully.
I'm against Fierceness, who's going to be the favorite. So my play is on some other horses who I think are going to be the right prices. The number 7, Anna Marie, who's a 20-1 on the line, a horse that I think is probably going to go off around 12, but is a late runner who should be finishing strongly in the race. I think he's going to get into the trifecta somewhere.
David, fabulous. We appreciate you. Enjoy the Oaks today and the Derby tomorrow. Thanks for coming on Coast to Coast.